Hi, I'm Vedika and I'm the Senior Product Designer for Verify CI. And today I would be talking about an effort that was started in Q4 in the last financial year um, around improving the experience around debugging jobs and analyzing pipelines. So this is the concept that we had shared widely with our users, and we have been starting to break this into smaller MVCs and started to work towards our final goal. But before we started off, we just wanted to be very confident of the decisions that we have made. And for that purpose, what we did was we conducted a solution validation exercise for this concept. Now, we spoke with about 8 participants who represented different archetypes from the developer persona, and we received feedback from them on the prototype. So we shared a prototype with them so they would be able to interact with the concept that we were talking about, and could also look at a few things, like try out a few things and so on. So that they're able to provide us with better suggestions and advice and overall how they are feeling about this entire concept. Now, and what we would be doing with the received feedback is we'd be making changes to the overall proposal in this epic, and the smaller issues that have kind of branched out of this epic would also be polished to fit to the requirements, the expected user experience goals. So talking about the insights that we have received from this particular exercise, so we receive feedback about many different things which are included in the design. For example, the graph, the job artifacts section, then the pipeline details, job logs, the warnings, etc. And besides that, we have also kind of captured the current workflow for our participants and what are the expected outcomes that they see happening in their existing workflow without even looking at, before they looked at this particular prototype, they also shared like what kind of improvements they expect from us to make to the current features or the current UI. Now, with all of these informations, we finally analyzed the whole set of results, and we have arrived at 5 insights that we would be working towards. So the first one here, it says show critical actionable information about jobs upfront. What it really means is in the present form. So I would also open this visual for you. So what's happening here is we have placed these warning icons, right? Like to denote like if there's a problem with an ongoing job, with a job in the pipeline. But it wasn't very clear to users like what exactly is causing, like what is the core reason behind this warning. So they would want the reason to be more explicitly placed in this pop-up that we are serving. And also if this can include some sort of actionable link that could directly take them to the part of the UI from where they can just take the corrective actions. So this was one. The next one, it says runner-related concerns vary for .com and self-hosted users. So this was something, again, very, it was kind of obvious that, yes, people who are using .com, they would be using the shared runners mostly, and self-hosted users, they spin up their own runners, so they don't run into, these two sections, they don't run into similar kinds of problems. And so, for example, GitLab.com users really appreciated being shown the queued status for jobs, while self-hosted users, they expressed that they hardly face difficulty with the queuing time unless there's a problem with the runner, in which case the only action that they can think about is spinning up a new runner. So that's something that we need to work on and make sure that we are also delivering enough value to our self-hosted users using this solution. The next one says, allow for contextual identification of jobs and pipelines. So there was no consensus on what singular data would be best to identify a job or pipeline. So users expressed that the identification depends on the context, which, for example, which event has triggered the pipeline. And just to provide a little more context, so this is the area that we're talking about. So we have kind of played around with this section, when it comes to identifiers for the pipeline, for which the details are open. And we asked our users, like, what is the kind of information that they associate the closest with the identity of a pipeline. And like I said, there was no consensus in that, but most of our users, I mean, most of the participants in this activity, they expressed that the event that has triggered the pipeline should be the most closely associated one. So this is again some change that we would be working on. The next is organize logs by script pattern. So here, if we go to the log section, it is kind of proposed that we would be collapsing the sections, but it wasn't very explicit. Like, what are we going to do? Like, how we are going to collapse these sections in the logs? And it was so some participants expressed that they expect the logs to be organized by scripts. For example, one section to represent a script group, which would include the before and after script. And luckily, we already have an issue in place for this. So that's a good thing. All right, so coming to the last one, which is highlight critical path with graph. So for a more insightful representation, so I'll again open the visual for reference. So for a more insightful representation, users expect the graph to highlight the critical path for the pipeline and therefore clearly indicating the areas of optimization. So that they really find this particular graph useful, but how they expect this graph to kind of affect their workflow is tell them exactly what could be optimized and how they could make their pipeline run better. So these were the insights that we have received, and we would be starting to work on this. The next step for us is Tao and I would be deciding how to incorporate all of these changes into the existing proposal and how to break it down into parts so that we could start off proceeding towards our final goal as early as possible. Thank you.